Hello, Thomas. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm very good. This is episode 3 of the Dopest Generation podcast. How are you feeling?
The train is chugging along.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty good.
The little war machine that we've built
I know.
seems to be functioning.
Yeah, pretty well, too.
Mm.
So how you feeling?
Feeling good, man.
Yeah?
Well, actually, I'm feeling... I don't think I should get into my diarrhea about today.
Why did you even have to... You didn't have to say it.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
But I just want to let people know, sometimes South Indian food can get a bit excessive.
Yes, it
And
can.
when mixed with the wrong beers, it can get explosive. Diarrhea explosive.
Okay, thank you.
We set out to inform, so too much information is never a bad thing.
Right. I don't know if I wanted to start the episode that way, with diarrhea talk.
Maybe we can end with some diarrhea.
Okay, just 2 quick cleanups from the last episode. Firstly, I just want to apologize for how I sound. I sound a little slurry, but that was because I still had a bad throat, so it was very dry and I couldn't talk properly. So I apologize for that. Only because it was a very important subject that we were.
But also, I don't think people care that much, man.
I just wanted to say, you know.
They're just like, yeah, we don't care. We
No,
don't know.
I sound
Maybe.
punch drunk, like a little bit at certain points. If you go back and listen to it, I sound a bit like.
Wait, from episode 1 or episode 2? Oh, did you not make this clarification on about episode 1 as well?
No.
Yes, you did, man.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Maybe you need to be a little less punch drunk.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. The second little cleanup is there's at one point when I was talking about the slave trade and how black people used to be treated. And I at one point said before slavery, and I meant to say before the emancipation, as in when slavery existed. So not before slavery, during the time of slavery.
Oh yeah, I see what's happening now.
Yeah.
We had this conversation offline, but in my head you said this on the episode.
Right, that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
just
yeah.
wanted to,
Okay.
make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people didn't think that I was yearning for slavery.
Mhm.
Going before slavery it was awful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good clarification.
Just wanted to make sure. So I have there's a bunch of stuff that happens, Thomas, and the great thing about doing this podcast is you start to really notice how much shit actually happens in the world.
Hmm.
And it's kind of fun. I mean, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Certain
It's like, yeah,
subjects you read and you're like, oh my god. But yeah, I was just writing down a lot of topics and I realized we live in such a crazy time that the media cycle is just so fast. The turnover is really quick, and so there's a bunch of stuff on my list here that I don't even think we'll get into. For example, considering all the stuff that's happened recently, do you remember that the debates happened last week?
Yeah, no, it seems a lot longer ago. doesn't it?
Exactly. That's the only reason I even want to bring up the debates. I don't even think we need to talk about it anymore. It's not that important.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just amazing to me.
Yeah, I think it is fascinating, man. It's something that's pretty important, especially for a huge democracy like America.
Yeah.
But every day in that same country, you literally just cannot keep up. The news can't keep up. Forget a podcast. We're not even a massive organization.
Yeah.
We're a 2 people nimble operation, and even we can't keep up. You're just
No.
oh shit, man, this shit takes more than one day to produce, edit, and throw together.
Yeah.
In that one day there's been a whole bunch of other stuff. There's been two mass shootings since
We'll
us
get into that.
deciding what topic we want
Yeah.
to do.
And
That's that's a sad state of affairs.
Exactly. And the thing is, if I didn't have my note, I'm pretty sure I've missed some stuff because the only reason I know it is because I keep my notepad close by. I'm pretty sure there's more topics I could have written down here.
Oh yeah. Honestly, even just today, cause we said we were gonna do these topics today. And then just this morning, we even have the whole Kashmir issue now.
Oh yeah, I read about that too.
So yeah, I mean it's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, but it's tough to keep up with what's happening in
It
the
is.
world right now.
Yeah. Before I get into the mass shootings, and I'll get to that in a bit because we should probably talk about that.
Hmm.
You know, for years, Thomas, people were like, "Hey, man, why do you call Ronald Reagan racist? He's not racist." You know, but
Who are these people? Show me these people.
yeah, exactly. Well, we don't need to because now I think the egg is in their face. I
Hmm.
think is the saying because a clip just came out. Uh, it's from Nixon's tape when Nixon was in the White House, and I
Yeah.
think back then Reagan was the governor of California,
Yeah.
and he called Nixon, and well, I'll insert the clip here.
And last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television, as I did, yeah, to see those monkeys from those African countries, damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes. Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it? Yeah. The tail wags the dog.
And so there it is. You know, well,
I
go
mean,
fuck
well,
yourself.
yeah, yeah. When it's that obvious,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, honestly, but I don't know how people can't read between the lines and figure out that this man's a racist.
No, no, no.
Every single policy that that man enacted had very disgusting racial
Oh yeah,
undertones to
remember
it.
welfare queens?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
him.
all of it. Even just like the war on drugs and the law and
I
order
mean,
state, and
I could
it's
go
all of it. Yeah,
Iran
it's on and
Contra.
yeah, yeah, it's
Like,
just every
yeah,
single one of it.
yeah.
And
I,
then people still have the thing. It's like, but was he racist?
no, no. I'll
We
tell
didn't
you.
hear him say the words.
I think they know. It's just like they know as long as you don't say those words, they have like plausible deniability.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's all it is. They know. That's why this is bad for them because they're like, oh fuck. I don't know. Like I haven't even heard people on like Fox News defending this or whatever.
Hmm.
Because I don't even know what they would say about that.
Oh yeah, there's really no defending it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there it is. Confirmed Ronald Reagan racist. There you go. Like
We
I
should
don't.
every time we like do like a like, topic on someone, we should just have like a stamp sound effect that comes in.
Oh
Ronald
yeah,
Reagan,
yeah,
push,
yeah.
racist.
Yeah, or like a, like how
Yeah,
they put, like there's those stickers that you
yeah,
can like
yeah.
just slap on. Yeah, maybe I'll look for a sound like that maybe. Um. Oh, I mean this is silly, but I just found out Bill Burr has an Instagram account, and I told you about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just before we went
Yeah, I
came to
just thought it was
record this,
fascinating. I wouldn't expect him to have like
I think all
Instagram
of it
account.
is fascinating, man. A, the fact that it's called Wilfred Burr.
Yeah, he's not
It's
William
like, yeah,
Burr.
it's like, why you're Bill, man? Why you Wilfred? I thought Bill was just always short
Yeah,
for William, and it's
yeah,
also the most like uncle-looking like Instagram
yeah. It
post like
is.
ever. Like honestly, I can see each one of like my 50-year-old like uncles from Kerala when they're out on
Yeah,
vacation, like taking a selfie like that, and even having like a disgusting pedo mustache like that.
yeah. I
The
know.
only difference is that Bill Burr's like kind of ginger,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
my uncle's, yeah, none of that.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Like I just found it hilarious that he had selfies and shit. Like he doesn't look to me like
Yeah,
the kind of guy. Cause like I don't take a lot of selfies, right? So like he totally doesn't.
definitely isn't.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
that's why I found it weird. Cause I was like, really? Okay, all right, good for you. And apparently he bakes. I found that out.
Man, that seems so off-brand,
I
right?
think
How
that.
dare they have these lives devoid of their on-stage personas?
Yeah, I think he's doing it just to kind of like get more sane.
I think so. Maybe I feel like someone's forced him into this.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's that. The other thing is, it's official that the July of 2019 is the hottest, has been the hottest July on record. So
Okay.
globally, by the way, not just like in Canada or America, globally. So, if you think global warming is a hoax or developed by China or some shit,
I
There's
mean,
a certain
how
president that
hot is
believes
it in
that.
China, though, right now?
Right.
These are the questions we need to be
Exactly.
asking.
Like how hot and how polluted is the place where everyone walks around wearing masks and shit?
How bad is it
How
over
bad?
there?
How
How
bad
bad,
can
really? Yes,
exactly?
exactly. Do you see the Chinese complaining? No.
No.
Does it
Yeah, of
have
course
anything to
not.
do with their repressive regime?
Ooh.
Maybe.
But yeah. So there's that. Very concerning.
Yeah,
Very
man.
very concerning.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't like even like putting all the macro stuff aside about like how fucked this is,
Yeah.
how like the direction which we're heading, and how this affects small things like like how there'll be ripple effects in the ecology as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's hot as hell even over here, man. Like
It
fuck,
really
every
is.
time we have to do these like recordings, it's like I just feel like it's so fucking hot. And
It. Yeah.
I tried to make a decision early on when we were recording these podcasts to like not have a beer while I'm doing this, but
Yeah.
it's been so fucking hot,
Yeah.
man.
I just am not drinking one because my throat, and I was so worried because of the last
From the
episode.
last time, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, nah, I'll
It's
skip
okay,
one.
man. We're yin yanging each other.
Yeah, exactly. Again,
I'll
the
pick up
Thelma
your
to your Louise. There you go.
exactly as we have established.
Yes, might be a running
Very,
joke, ladies and gentlemen.
it could be.
We haven't seen Thelma and Louise in a while, though.
I haven't seen
Have
it
you?
like at all.
Oh, you haven't seen it at all?
I've seen like the last scene, and
Oh
I
yeah,
know
well,
that
because
Susan
it's
Sarandon's in it.
yeah,
That's literally all I know
who
about the
is
movie.
fine as hell.
Susan Sarandon.
Dude, go fuck yourself. Do you have very bad taste?
She's a
If you don't,
two. That's my Donald Trump impression. She's a two, a
she's
two
a
at
two.
best.
Totally not good. Not good. Totally not good. Okay, let's get into some really, really sad news. Two mass shootings happened over the weekend in the States, and a total of three major ones that at least that were reported on happened in the past week.
Yeah,
So, I mean, this is I'm the sad part is that I think a lot more than these three happened in the last week,
yeah,
but we're like
and yeah,
smaller scale.
yeah,
Yeah, like so the first one was the Gilroy Garlic Festival, where three people died. Then there was the El Paso, Texas shooting in Walmart, and the Dayton, Ohio shooting.
yeah.
So that's currently over 30 people dead and over 50 injured. That's devastating. You want to get into it before I get into some of the details?
Yeah, like I mean, it's just like in all three of these cases, there's a very, um, I guess it's there's a very clear pattern here, right? It's all three of these gunmen have expressed some sort of hatred on like online boards, and have expressed some form of like white supremacy and feeling like they've been victimized somehow because minorities or Mexicans or are coming in and apparently endangering their way of life. And it's also, in my opinion, very clear to see where they kind of draw this kind of these observations from, right?
Yeah.
When you have literally like the most powerful man like in the world just saying things like this on the daily, it's not difficult for these people to like look at that and feel validated that their opinions have some validity to it, express their hatred online. They don't really get much, I guess, sense of community online. They feel frustrated, they go out and they do like horrific acts like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I can't remember if the Gilroy Garlic Festival dude was some sort of white supremacist. Can't quite remember.
The two of them, the Dayton, Ohio, and the
No, no, I'm talking about the Garlic Festival, the one that happened earlier this week.
I don't know about the 3 days
Yeah,
ago
yeah.
one, but I know the at least with Dayton, Ohio, and with
So actually, like, let me get into it because I looked into it just a little bit, read some articles. So the El Paso, Texas guy, he had white
yeah, because didn't
supremacist
he say like
motivations.
something about like, oh, he went on some online forum order and then he spoke about
Yeah, I think 4chan, he uploaded a manifesto. They described it, some article I can't remember. It was described as an anti-immigrant manifesto, and I read that in it he said that he didn't like race mixing. So yeah, it's pretty apparent. And also he liked and shouted out the Christchurch shooter, the guy
Oh
New
wow, the
Zealand.
New Zealand shooter.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Who also killed about I think 50 or 60 people.
Hmm.
That one was very um, dangerous and scary as well. The I won't name the dude just because why.
Yeah, fuck that
Yeah,
guy.
but he's a white guy, 21, and the case is being treated as a domestic
Domestic
terrorism
terrorist.
case,
Yeah.
which is good to hear.
And what about the other guy? Is he who's the guy who had like access to like the 100 live, like 100 live rounds of ammunition, and he had like the bulletproof vest? Was that the Dayton guy or was it the El Paso?
It might have been the Dayton guy because the El Paso guy I saw a photo and he didn't seem like he was wearing a lot of armor or anything.
Hmm.
The scary part that I read that I noted about the Dayton guy, so the shooting happened outside a very popular bar, and apparently there were cops everywhere around it. Like the
Hmm.
event didn't even last that long. It was like they said like the whole thing lasted about 40 seconds. He shot for only 30 seconds.
Hmm.
He killed 9 people in 30 seconds, and fired 41 shots. Just to give you a sense of like the power of
Hmm.
the weapon.
Yeah.
Like that's he injured 37, or I should say 37 were injured, 14 were actually struck by gunfire
Hmm.
of those 37 that were injured. And the rest were like just got injured, like trying to scramble and escape the gunfire. Um, this dude might not have been a white supremacist, but he was. I think this dude, between that case and this case, is interesting because they're both very different cases, but they're both very good cases for gun control legislation.
All of it is, man.
No,
All of it is.
let me describe to you this dude, okay? So he killed his sister as well, by the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
and her boyfriend. Apparently, this dude was a very disturbed kid, and apparently he'd always been a bit of an asshole. I think he had mental health issues, but he was also an asshole. He had in high school, his classmates said that he had a hit list in high school, and he had one list for boys and one list for girls. He had a kill list for boys and a rape list for girls.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant by like, sure, you have. See, this is where, a lot of times we talk about mental health and people, especially when it comes to certain sort of individuals, people are like, oh, but he had mental health issues. That's okay. A lot of people have mental health issues. We probably have some sort of mental health issues, like mild forms of certain issues as well. But that doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. Like, quite honestly, Donald Trump seems like he has mental health issues too. But he's also a total douchebag. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, more than anything, like if you have mental health like issues, I don't think you should have. I don't think it just gives you the right to like not be an asshole, but like I think it definitely should not give you the right to own weapons in that case, especially when you're like mentally fragile.
And there were tons of signs. Like, the girls that he went to school with said that he would put them on the rape list if, like, a lot of them said, like, I turned him down for a date and he got mad and he put me on the list. And he like, they said that, like, he would point at people and, like, do, like, a gun sign with his
Holy
fingers.
shit.
Yeah, and his friends, like some people said, like when we used to hang out, it was weird because he'd always talk about like violence and being violent towards people.
Wow.
Yeah, they shot his ass down though. I don't know what. I mean, maybe we'll find out more about this guy, but all of these things combined, to your point, think about if he may have had all these violent tendencies, but if he did not have access to weaponry as powerful as this weaponry was, maybe 9 people would still be alive.
Yeah. What annoyed me the most out of like these issues, because they happen so often, you kind of feel a certain sense of like numbness to it now.
Exactly.
But I still felt the sense of annoyance like at the remarks that that DJT made when like and in the wake of these shootings, and you could tell these were just like NRA talking points.
And did you see the way he delivered it? He
Yeah, I
read
mean,
off a
yeah, he
teleprompter.
definitely read off a teleprompter because I don't think he has any sense of like
No,
humanity himself.
no, but the way he said it felt like there was no
Yeah,
affection or
no, there's
care
no
there.
sympathy
There
there.
was no
No, none,
sympathy.
none
It was
whatsoever.
just like, "Oh, okay, what do I have to say?
Yeah,
Put it on the prompter and I'll say."
yeah.
And I think the way he said it, I think his. See, this is where I think it gets like really weird because I think the way he said like I condemn racism or whatever the fuck he said, I think his supporters look at that and go, he doesn't mean it. I know it, and he's
Hmm.
doing it the way, like he's purposely doing it that way, and good to know
Hmm.
Mr. Trump thinks.
Yeah, but like what concerned me the most was that there's a clear deflection towards there's at no point were guns brought up. In fact, towards the end of that little speech, he spoke about the internet like a few times, and he was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, the internet radicalizes these people. The internet does
Mm.
this," and it's a little thing of like he's just playing to his base again. Older white people, older people who don't really get what the internet is about,
Also,
and it's the same thing. It's like, oh, video games are the issue. The internet is the issue. I was like, yeah, about how about access to guns, man? Why is
yeah.
that not the issue?
Also, I wonder who's constantly on the internet tweeting all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly. And he talks about like, oh, there's no place for hate. He just told immigrants to go back home. Well, like even for like immigrant people, like well, women who were born in his own country, U.S. congresswomen who were like the children of immigrants, told them to go back home. What are you saying that there's no place for hate? You're the one who brings up hate all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw like a segment on Fox News, and they were they were blaming video games for this.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Well, that's that.
The only other thing I want to bring up
Yeah.
is, and I don't know whether this was, I think this was the El Paso. Who was the one who they caught alive?
El Paso.
El Paso, right? And there, I saw this little thing on Instagram where, like, when the police like apprehended him, and they kind of compared it with how they caught Eric Garner,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they showed like the excessive use of force,
Yeah.
like in one case, and in a case where someone's literally killed 20 people, it seemed like the most like civil, like, hey,
Yeah.
follow protocol,
Yeah.
let's not be too harsh on this kid,
Yeah. Fire
kind of a thing.
Pantaleo, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace to all the victims, and sympathies to their families. Uh, I mean, look, man, we're lucky. I guess we stay here in Canada. It's a lot safer. Think about the last time. Again, 3 in a week. Think about the last time we had a mass shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's just
But there's a few that's happened in Toronto too, man. There's one that happened just at Liberty Village yesterday, right? There's 3 people killed at Liberty Village yesterday.
But wasn't it like a targeted?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, but you can see the number of shootings that are taking
Yeah.
place too. So
I mean, yeah. Well, it's still
I think it just goes back to the access to guns, man.
right. That's what I'm
It's-
saying.
yeah.
Like, bring the laws that they have in America here. See what happens.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, for sure.
That's what I'm basically saying. But yeah, that's sad. All right. Okay, Thomas. We both went to go see a movie recently. Well, we didn't go together, but we saw a movie recently that
Yeah.
came out by a certain individual called Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Yeah. His 9th film. He says he's only gonna make 10.
Yeah. Just kind of makes me sad now.
Right. We'll get to that. We'll get to his thing later. The movie is called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Stars Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. It has Margot Robbie in it.
Wow.
Yeah, she's
She's a star herself.
she,
Okay.
she is a star. I wish he'd given her more to do. I love her. But I'm gonna clear my throat. Start talking.
We don't have to do that. Just edit it, man.
No, I literally just.
I need to clear my throat.
Um. No. So what did you think of the film, Thomas?
I really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the more enjoyable Quentin Tarantino movies. Um, but I think what really made it so enjoyable for me was just like the powerhouse performances. Leonardo
Right.
DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. I've always loved Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Same.
Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, I can see like kind of how like some critics would say that he kind of like acts the same like in a
Yeah.
lot of his movies.
This critic that's sitting in front of you has said
Yeah,
that.
but in this movie, like man, I don't think you can say that. I think
No, I agree.
this truly was like a great performance from him. But Brad Pitt, man, it's
Man,
just
he's just
he's too damn cool.
he really is. Especially like I don't know if in real life maybe he is or not, but like the character he plays in the movie is
Yeah,
super cool.
I do. You know when I've loved Brad Pitt even in like the smallest roles that he does. I don't know if you've seen the cameo that he does on Friends. Like
Oh
where
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's one of like Rachel's ex. But even that role, man, he fucking killed even that
yeah.
role.
Yeah.
He's
I
just an amazing actor, and he brings so much to like every movie.
yeah, he was really good in the Ocean series
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure. He
Yeah.
just brings like that. Like for someone that's that good looking, he brings a lot of relatability into
Cuz I think
like a movie.
cuz I think he doesn't try to like just be like he I don't know. It's weird like there's a niceness to his characters
Exactly.
usually. Right? That's why I think you relate to him. He doesn't play like obnoxious he's never played an obnoxious character, I
Hmm.
think. Maybe it's that maybe that's by design.
Maybe yeah, it's a choice. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I thought that it was a pretty good movie. If slightly indulgent a little bit.
Hmm.
It was very good. Um, my thing is like I heard some criticism about this movie being indulgent, but my thing is like, what else do you expect from Tarantino? Like
Oh yeah,
that's what
that's
I
his
don't
style. Yeah.
understand. This is what he does,
Hmm.
and I think this time like he had absolute free reign to do whatever he wanted, and I do think like you could probably cut the movie like 20 minutes and you wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, but for me, even though it's like 2 hours 45 minutes, I'm not a fan of like very long movies.
Yeah.
But 2 hours 45 minutes, and I never even felt it. I That was my fear going in. My thing was like, oh, I felt like at points it might drag, but not at one point it dragged along.
I,
And again, I think it just goes back to that strong performance by both those individuals.
Right. I don't think it dragged. It just annoyed me. Like I'll tell you the scenes where characters were driving around in the in their cars, and just music was playing in the background. And I
Hmm.
know Tarantino did that just to be like, oh, I bet they haven't heard this shit in a while. Oh, here's some throwback to some piece of music that like was probably popular back then,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's the only reason he had those scenes. And quite frankly, to me, they were annoying because it's like just release a companion piece, like release like an album or something, right? Like I don't want to hear all like you want to play some music from back in the day, give people that feeling of like they're there, do shorter versions of it. Like he didn't have to do like those like the thing is like I wouldn't even care if there were those scenes of them driving around. It's like how long like he had multiple shots that were really long where the only thing was like the character was just driving around and music was playing and it's like
Mm.
all right.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I've read I've read a few like defenses of that. Like I think like he personally does that well too. He doesn't make it seem overtly like stretched out. I mean, because he does use like cool shots, he does use cool music, and and some of those scenes, like I think there is some real there's meaning behind it.
Right. No.
So it's not a scene that doesn't have any purpose. I don't want to get into it because it'll like it's gonna like give some of the story
No, no,
away.
no. But all I'll say is I get that. I just thought it was like a bit slightly overkill. I remember there was one point towards the end of the movie where someone puts on a record and I literally went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, not again, more music."
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's just my thing. Like I have a thing with music and drama. I think like you should use music sparingly because I think it's a way. It's a cheat code.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, a lot of I can't remember who said it, but I think it was maybe Spielberg or actually maybe not Spielberg. Someone who said, I think speaking of Hans Zimmer's work, was just why they kind of go to him to like compose like a lot of like the soundtrack because they say that you can basically through story like through like the script and through like your visuals you can only get like a teardrop to someone's eye, but what makes someone actually like bawl out and cry is the music. And I think Tarantino kind of understands that, and it's a very integral part of his movie making.
I'll tell you what the difference is to me, though, between those two things, or the way Tarantino does it versus like, I mean, I'm not Hans Zimmer's not a director, but the way Hans Zimmer or Nolan would do it
Hmm.
is Tarantino, lit, like Hans Zimmer creates music and it sounds and it's like it's instruments.
Hmm.
Tarantino uses songs.
Hmm.
And the thing with songs is there's even if it's like not a song from like way ago, right? Even if it's a song that was released like a couple months ago or like a year ago, there's immediately some nostalgia associated with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think
But
that's
it's a tool. I think where we're disagreeing is that I think it's a tool. You think it's a cheat code.
no, I think it's a tool, but like if you use it,
It's cheap. It's almost
overuse
you're
it.
saying.
yeah, it's just like, oh, I see what you're doing. Like this is where older people get to say, "Oh no, see, you don't get it because you weren't raised in that era." Well, I don't give a fuck. If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. It should not depend on whether or not I know something, right?
Yeah, but
and
it's
your
such a
job.
small. It's such a small portion.
No, no,
of
no.
it, though.
I'm agreeing that I like the movie. I'm just telling you, like, if I had one critique of it,
Hmm.
it's that. If he would have changed that, this might be one of my favorite movies of his because it's actually really, really good.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I think like where we both agree is that it's probably one of his like best work actually.
Again, that's why I would say one of his better, right? Like,
Yeah,
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 like-
but that's a small critique.
No, no,
though.
I
mean, in
agree.
terms of like everything else, I
Hey,
think it
you know me.
ties in everything like really well.
Yeah.
He kind of goes back into like this fictionalized.
Yeah. He does.
I guess he tells the story differently as opposed to like the actual
Yeah.
series of events.
Yeah.
But I think there's individual scenes in there that seem very, very unrelated, right until like you get to a point where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it all of it is related. But he builds suspense in such a phenomenal way.
Yeah. And
You don't really feel bored.
yeah. And this won't even be a spoiler because this happens in every Tarantino film. Like the last 15 minutes, he goes bonkers. Like
Yeah.
as with all his movies, and like this is not an exception. But I liked it in this, like the way it was done. Yeah, yeah. Also, you love this movie if you love seeing hippies get fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I personally enjoy a lot.
Yeah, which is what I actually really enjoy. I didn't know much about like the Manson killings
Yeah.
before going into this movie. So
Oh, really?
after watching the movie, I looked
Did
into
you
it
read
and
up?
I was just like, oh man, like I think I like the movie even more now.
Yeah. No, which is why I enjoyed it because I had like I've read a lot about like serial killer stuff and like Ted Bundy and all these guys. So like I looked into that. But yeah, like I think like he handled that in a real like the thing with Tarantino. My problem with some of his movies is he throws class out of the window sometimes.
Hmm.
He just goes for like really like just here's just me being violent, nasty for no reason.
Hmm.
I think he didn't do like this is like the best version of that going crazy shit I've seen where I was like, oh, this I actually like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other thing I was gonna say is like there's a lot of really, and he's very good at this. Like he writes these really great scenes,
Yeah.
right? There's like one scene, like where him and Brad Pitt are literally just watching a TV show they're in,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
An
man.
episode, and it's just them like reacting to it and kind of like having some beers and like watching the show, and it was just amazing. It was like watching like it was like if we were listening to our episodes and just talking about, oh, look at what you did there, which we do. Like right after we record, we'll like listen to it, and it just sounded like that, like us just like kicking it.
Yeah, it's almost like if you have like if you have that one buddy of yours, who
Yeah.
you like you just really enjoy kicking it with.
Yeah.
It really is like a nice throwback to that, and I also like how, since it is set like back in that time when there was so many of these like buddy cop shows that were out, it's like a nice little like throwback to that part of Hollywood as well.
Yeah, it really is. It's like I would say like, and I think I told you this earlier. It's like if it's the companion piece to Hail Caesar. I feel like it's like
Yeah.
a different version of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what I think fascinated me the most, or what I appreciated the most in the entire movie, like besides just like Tarantino's classic, his own like unique style of direction, was in the storytelling itself. He kind of made these points about Hollywood itself, and I think he did it through the hippies, like about like how Hollywood can be, sometimes it can be excessive, it can be it's over the top, it can be a little elitist, but then going into like individual stories of the actors
Yeah.
and like the people who are in casting, and it's the like the stunt doubles,
Yeah.
just like kind of breaking down that kind of mystique and that the importance that we provide to actors themselves, and saying like, hey, maybe sometimes they are not all that, actors
Yeah.
can be weak, they can be fragile, sometimes it's a stunt double. There's so many points of Hollywood that I think only someone like a Hollywood insider like
Right.
that, which with that much awareness about the industry, and someone who hasn't like sold into that little bubble of theirs, can tell a story like that.
Yeah, and I think like the thing is, to me, that's why I said earlier I don't understand what people expect from Tarantino, because don't go in expecting some really deep story, because I don't think there is one. And the thing is, Tarantino has never done that,
Hmm.
right? So that's why I think it didn't bother me that much, because I'm like, yeah, of course, like this is what he does. The other thing that I don't know if you know, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, like their relationship, it was based on Burt Reynolds and his stuntman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is that cool?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of cool stuff if you look into it. Like a lot of the actors play like real actors from back in the day.
Yeah, it has that whole piece of like, just these are actual
Yeah,
Hollywood stories kind
exactly.
of
So If,
thing.
if you
And
have
that's why I feel like it was so well married even to the actual like Manson killings.
no, yeah. So I was gonna say, if you're like a film student, this is an absolute must for you to watch, because if you were studying like what Hollywood was like in the '60s in that era, I think it's set in '69, right? Like you have to watch this, because I think like he did his research. Like he really did his research well.
Yeah, for sure.
The one last thing I want to say is just about the characters themselves of Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Rick Dalton, I think, is who Leonardo DiCaprio plays. Initially, when you see him, he's a very unlikable character,
Hmm.
right? Because he seems like really smug and he seems like a bit of an asshole. But then it's when like there's a scene where like you really see his emotional vulnerability and you see what he actually is, and I think that's when you start like connecting with the character and caring about him, because you're like, oh, okay, you're human to me, right? And I
Yeah.
think it's a similar thing with Brad Pitt, where his character seems like this like jock type, right?
Hmm.
But you start caring about him and you see like he's just the nicest dude and the best friend in the world that Rick Dalton could ever have. Like he doesn't expect shit from Rick. Rick will like sometimes like Rick treats him like his little manservant.
Hmm.
And like he doesn't even mind. He's like, yeah, sure, buddy, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll pick you up. No worries. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll run that little errand for you, and he just does it.
Because in a world of like Tarantino characters, who are like often like they tend to be very well-rounded characters.
Yeah.
This was a refreshing change of pace for like a character who was just solid to his like values throughout.
Yeah.
constantly.
And then he gives him a little bit of depth too. There's like
For
something
sure.
in his past that like that they bring up in the movie,
Yeah.
and I like that they didn't go into it too
They
much.
don't go into it too much, so that's where the depth comes in. It's like,
Exactly.
where do you lie on this? Do you think it happened? Do you
Right.
think it didn't happen? Like, yeah, sometimes it's best not to judge, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I don't want to do ratings or anything because I don't
Yeah,
really
no,
like rating
I don't think
systems.
like ratings is worth it. But what I will say is that it's made me want to go back to old Tarantino
Yeah.
movies, and I've just been like, I watched Inglorious Bastards right after
Okay, I
watching.
will get into that, but I actually do want to give it a rating. I'll give it a purple out of a 11 teen. There you go. If you guys wanted a rating. Okay, let's talk about Tarantino's work a little bit. This episode is going to be slightly longer, but whatever. It's okay. You know, we can have one. There's just a lot. What do you think of Tarantino's work? You want to start with *Inglourious Basterds* because you just saw it?
Yeah. I mean, I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a movie like in his body of work. I think it's probably one of like the closer ones to Inglorious Bastards
I
in
was
terms
thinking
of
that.
how well, just because how
Technique and style, right?
yeah, like just like, and even just like the almost
Maybe not
like just
style.
bringing it kind of like right to the end, almost like, because there's a lot of like individual
Ties up.
scenes that are like, really well written,
Yeah.
but they don't really seem to like make sense in the time, but when you know what the ending is, it all makes sense, kind of a thing.
And they're both hilarious.
Yeah,
Because they deal with
it's
dark
so,
subjects,
and
but they're
so
hilarious.
excessive,
I-
like by the end of it.
Yeah.
But also just the how he's written characters as well.
Yes.
In Inglorious Bastards, it's, if you go back to it, it's just he's done a really good job about like how even pivotal characters who you seem to like kind of make judgments about very early on, they tend to be well rounded right towards the end. It's like, oh, you know what, I wasn't really rooting for the guy at the end. Maybe this guy's not so bad. Oh, maybe he is an asshole.
Yeah.
You kind of go like, you do the whole 360
Yeah,
with
exactly.
this person.
And let me just state this is probably like an unconventional opinion. It is my opinion that *Inglourious Basterds* is Tarantino's best movie.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. And one of the reasons I love that movie so much is because more than I think even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it has so many characters, and he juggles them all really well.
Yeah.
And even the little cameos. What's the dude? The Austin Powers guy.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers. He makes
Yeah,
a cameo, and his
yeah.
cameo is so good.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything about. I love everything about that movie. I have seen that movie multiple times, and again, Brad Pitt kills it.
Yeah, he kills it, man.
Oh,
Again,
kill some
it's-
Nazis.
Yeah.
Like I said, Nazis.
Yeah. And even his little Italian accent.
Yeah.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. I love
Yeah.
like even when he speaks Italian and those other dudes they say
Yeah, Margaret.
Antonio Margaretti.
Margaretti.
And he goes, say it again. He goes, Margaretti. It's so good. It's like what like an American, a meathead American would think Italian sounds like. It's
Yeah.
so good, yeah.
Yeah, no, but yeah, for sure. So Inglorious Bastards is right up there. Pulp Fiction, I think, I think Pulp Fiction for me, I have too. It's too rooted in my childhood for me to like not give another high score. I feel it's written really like the scenes individually are just are great in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was a revolutionary movie in like the way the story was told.
Absolutely.
And
I think that's what I think launched Tarantino
Yeah.
into this level of stardom, is just it showed his own unique style of directing to the world, which literally there's no other director who had made a movie like that prior.
That or Reservoir
Yeah,
Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs too.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs too.
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs I think is probably my like favorite movie of his.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a very good movie. I
Because
agree.
it's a simpler like I think with Inglorious Bastards, because it deals with like history and like spies, I think there's a lot of like room to play around within that, because you have like, you there's tools to like use like double agents and like
Yeah.
betrayal, and but with Reservoir Dogs, he almost employs like those same things in a way. He has like a lot of the betrayal thing without having the space to do it in.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you why I think the other thing that adds to me like Inglorious Bastards more than something like a Reservoir Dogs is I think me personally I love watching movies where like people kill Nazis or fuck Nazis up. It's just like I love it. Like that's like it's just because it's a fascinating time. That's I read a lot about it, and it's very disturbing in many ways. But I'm a huge fan of FDR and what he like. I think people don't give him. I think people he deserves even more credit than he gets for defeating the Nazis, and so I think that's the other reason why. Because I enjoy reading about history and learning about history, so maybe that's the other reason why I like that a little more.
Yeah, and to like almost not go back to it, but tell the version of history that should have been told to you, kind of a thing.
That should have happened.
Yeah.
Is what he does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like.
which is, and I think he does. Well, yeah, I don't want to get into it too much. But
Yeah. Let's
yeah,
not.
Yeah.
But then there's also films of his that I don't like at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
I mean, I would say there's aspects of them I like, maybe, but like I don't like Jackie Brown, and I don't like the
Hmm.
two Kill Bill movies.
Yeah. I kind of like Kill Bill. But again, I think it goes back to that same discussion we were having about like, music and this sort of. I think like he uses it
It's.
well,
I think it's.
and it's a revenge story, and it's very excessive.
Yeah.
It's very grandiose. I think it's just we kind of differ in the kind of movies we like, because I like, for
Yeah,
me,
maybe.
like every now and then I like Broadway, I like musicals and stuff. So I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
grandiose every
Right.
now and then. But I don't think like for you, you're not like a big fan of that.
I like grandiose. I just like I don't like musicals. I hate musicals.
Mm.
That's one place where I'm like I have a very conservative point of view on that. Like I hate musicals. Can't stand them.
Mm.
Like maybe I'd be open to it if I saw something that was like done exceptionally well, but I've never seen anything like that. Actually, maybe
There's been a few, man. Dude, some of them are really, really good. Like
I'll have
even
to
if you
think-
just, I would say like I'm gonna go right out there and be like the Lion King musical like will always be better than fucking what the fucking movie is going to be, man. Like
it's
just
Thomas
yeah.
likes musicals.
Yeah, man. I actually really do, man. The Book
Yeah?
of Mormon
Do you-
is in an amazing, amazing musical.
Do you also braid each
See,
other's
this-
hair?
Yeah, this
when you-
is. I knew it. Dude. I knew you would go into this kind of thing. I don't know why you're
No.
conservative about musicals, man.
No,
I
okay.
think you think
I'm
like,
joking.
oh, this is something reserved for the gays. That's probably something.
Why are you
would
making me
say.
sound like a Republican?
Because you just said I'm very
was
conservative
joking.
about musicals.
No, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't like musicals. But the thing with Kill Bill is it was just like it was too much style and not enough like I get it's a revenge story, but this is where Tarantino's weakness comes in and makes movies bad for me.
But
If-
I don't think it's a weakness though. I think like
No, no,
style
no,
is a
hold
big
on.
part of
No,
it.
no, no.
And I think even with musicals,
No.
a lot of it is the style.
I
Like
agree.
with Lion King, the musical, it's all style.
No, no,
it's
I
not
agree.
really the story. The story has been told.
No, no.
already.
The weakness I was gonna talk about is depth in story. Like he has that issue. Like there's not a lot of depth, and so like that was my issue with Kill Bill. Like you make something just style. Like it's like
Yeah.
like it's a bit of a rash example, but like this is one of the reasons I don't like Michael Bay that much. You know, like
yeah.
no, but it's a better version of it, but it is like it's all style. It's a movie about like her just going fucking people up. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's a revenge movie. What else? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the style that it employs is different, right? Like with
I
Michael
agree.
Bay, it's crass. Like none of it is. It's not good style.
Kill Bill.
It's like
Kill
it's-
Bill greater than any of Michael Bay's films. I agree on that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying like.
but
I-
even just as a tool, so I don't think that's like a fair comparison.
no, but again, there's all these tools, right? Music, style, right? There's all these tools, but I guess like I just like. Maybe if it was done like Mandy, I would have liked it. You know what I mean? But like, it was nothing that I hadn't seen before. Like I've seen Tarantino's other works,
Yeah.
and then I see this, and I'm looking for, okay, where, like, what, something's gonna come in where I'll be like, okay, that's a story point here, story point. It never came, and it just became like a series of scenes where she was fighting people.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I still like it because like of the style that was
Sure,
employed.
sure.
It's not like to the level of
Yeah,
something like
it's just
Mandy
not for me,
either.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did like the style because I'm a fan of Tarantino's
Yeah,
style. So
sure.
I was like, okay, yeah, you know what, this it works even for like a story that is this plain. He kind of like keeps you on your toes. He employs like violence, even like just the sheer gore of it is, it's almost it's beautifully done
No, no,
gore kind of a thing.
I'll agree with you there. I do think it's a good-looking movie. I think like I said, like I'm not saying that it's not shot well or that the style is like not good. I think it's good. Like all that is good.
Yeah.
I just need more. I just need more than just that.
Yeah, I mean, out of all his movies, does this have like the most depth? No,
It's probably the
definitely
least.
not. Yeah, it has the least depth of any of it.
Actually,
But but I think it's but I mean it does what it does best, right? It's very attractive,
yeah, I agree.
like filmmaking.
Sure. Yeah. What do you think about Jackie Brown?
Jackie Brown, honestly, man, I fucking watched it so long ago. I don't even remember like most of Jackie
Because
Brown.
it was one of his most forgettable movies. I remember it because I just do. The only good thing about that movie, the good things about the movie in this order: one, Samuel L. Jackson, who was
Mm.
amazing in the movie, and two, Pam Grier. Everyone else is garbage.
Yeah, honestly, I can't even remember like anything
What's
of
his
like
name?
Jackie Brown.
The dude, white dude that played the Batman, the first Batman, Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in it. Forgettable.
Hmm.
There's a couple other. Don't care. The story is nonsense. It's just it's a bad movie. Tarantino has made a bad movie, and I think Jackie Brown is a bad movie.
Yeah, I think he's made like a few bad, like even like Hateful Eight. I haven't watched. But but going back to like one of those movies which I don't think has like any sort of like depth at all. It's almost nonsensical, but but it is again very like attractive. Is the one which he did with Robert Rodriguez, man. Damn, what's that one?
Oh, Death Race.
Yeah, yeah. Is it
Yeah, I
Death
think
Race
it
or
was.
Death
I
Race or
could look
Death
it up,
Proof?
but
Or,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh man, but you know what? I don't remember like a lot of it, but I remember being I remember just enjoying it a lot.
I agree.
It almost was. There was almost like this little hint of Bollywood in it,
Dude,
in how
okay.
exaggerated it was, but it was like a very obvious like play on something like that, where I think Bollywood takes itself seriously in making a very exaggerated movie. This one didn't. I think it was just like, yeah, no, we're making a
Sorry,
very stupid movie.
it was Death Proof.
Death
Death
Proof.
Race is a
Yeah.
garbage movie.
Death Proof,
Uh,
yeah.
No, I love Death Proof as well, but that is an example to me of style done well.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
style done well. It's something that knows it's like, man, there's literally no substance to this. There's nothing. So out of nothing, can we make something that looks really, really cool?
Yeah, it was nice.
And in cases sounds really cool because again, that's a very good use of music and like just the score.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
And just like I had no fucking idea what this movie was. And I remember when I watched it on TV when I was in India, and I didn't even know it was Tarantino. But like the moment I started watching it, I was like, this seems very
Yeah,
Tarantino
because
esque.
like, I think I watched it the same way. You know what? It seems like a movie that shouldn't be that good.
Yeah,
Like, that's why you
very
like it.
stupid. It's
Because
a ridiculous movie. It's almost like
it's a B grade movie made
Yeah.
by like an A-list director.
exactly.
That's why it's so
That's
good.
exactly what.
And I
it
think
is.
that's most of his earlier work.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
But I found it was so enjoyable. Man.
Yeah, no, I agree. What about Django Unchained? What do you think about Django Unchained?
I like Django Unchained too. That I did not like Leonardo DiCaprio's performance as much. I
I
thought it was very like one dimensional kind of a thing.
I didn't think it was one dimensional necessarily. I thought it was not. I'm glad he actually. I mean, I don't think he would have done it again anyway. But like, I don't think Tarantino should have approached slavery. I don't think that's not a subject for him. Like he's too much of he he's too much. He has this obsession with making things, taking like look at 12 Years a Slave as an example.
Hmm.
That's a movie about slavery that's like done well. Now I get it, Tarantino has his own style, but the thing is, I don't even think he wanted to make a movie about slavery. I think he wanted to make a movie about like a black bounty hunter running around. Like that's what it is for
Yep.
quite a while.
Yeah, it's almost like it's too easy. Like you're always rooting for him, and he wins without like
No, but
many obstacles. It's yeah.
no,
I didn't think it was one of his better films.
no. I did like, again. I liked the production design and everything. It was all good. Um, there's certain scenes that I love from the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The thing that I hated about the movie was that like I thought Jamie Foxx should have, and spoiler alert, Jamie Foxx should have killed Leonardo DiCaprio's character in the end. I think it was kind of stupid to make Christoph
Yeah.
Waltz. Like he had like what would he have to do? Like I hated the fact that he
Again,
made
yeah.
this movie and the focus was more on Christoph Waltz's character. Like I don't think like that should have been the
I
case.
wonder whether that was like more of a Hollywood decision though, because I remember at that time Christoph Waltz was, because it was right after
Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds, and Christoph Waltz was like talk of the town, right?
I think it was more a Tarantino. I think
Yeah, oh
Tarantino
yeah,
has
or
that kind of
or maybe
autonomy.
he, and maybe he just went and he was just like, I love Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
He did so well at
Mhm.
Inglourious Basterds that maybe he's gonna do a good
Yeah,
job for
like
this
it
one
was
too.
good. There's a scene towards the end that I love where, right after he kills those Australian slavers, uh, he takes a saddle off the horse and rides him bareback, and it's a great scene because like he opens the cage in which the other slaves are, and he tells them which way north is, I think, and then that like it's like a person who's never seen a free black man before, and they see him like riding like away on the horse, and it's like amazing music is playing in the background.
Hmm.
It's like a John Legend song too. I forget what it is, but it's one of the
But
great.
this is what I'm saying, man.
'Cause
Music can be a great tool.
No, but if you use it properly, because they pan into they show Jamie Foxx like riding away on the horse, Django riding away on the horse, and then they cut to the slave, and they kind of pan in, and he like they
They go
and you
into
can
his
see it in
eyes, yeah.
his eyes, like that he's like seeing, he's like
Yep.
it's like the most inspiring thing he's seen as a
Yeah.
slave. Like it was
Also,
really good.
in this little journey of like going back into Tarantino movies, he actually does that a lot. I think in every single movie, there's a shot where he zooms into a character's eyes.
He does that, yeah.
He does that a lot.
He really
But I
does.
think it's a
It's effective.
yeah, it's very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And for his pulpy style, I think it works
for
really
sure.
well.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the last movie, you kind of touched on it earlier, Hateful Eight, which I have seen.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one.
I liked it. I thought, I think it's like, again, if you're a film student, I think you should watch it because it's like it's basically a play, right? It's set in a cabin, and it's winter. I think they're in Wyoming or someplace. It's winter time. and-
Post Civil War.
Post Civil War, and Samuel L. Jackson is the lead character, and I think it's just an interesting movie because I've never seen a movie set in that time period on a former black Union soldier,
Hmm.
and so it's just like a really interesting movie from that perspective. And if you really appreciate dialogue and like you know and then there were none type like
Hmm.
character stuck in a one
Void kind of a
location
thing, yeah.
type of movie, I think you like it. It's
Mm.
definitely like I can see why people would not like it. I can totally. I enjoy it just because like I like that like. Firstly, like Samuel L. Jackson's character is just amazing. Like his character, like he's a great actor, but the character that is written for him
Hmm.
is really good. I mixed up good and cool.
He's really cool.
He's really cool. No, he's really good and cool.
Yeah, but what I really want to see though is a Red Dead Redemption movie made by Quentin Tarantino. I think that would be cool as fuck, man.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. It seems like he borrows from like a lot of his own universe, which he's done even in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I want to see him like use like some bits of Django Unchained, some bits of like The Hateful Eight, and like just make this movie that tells the story
Right.
of like Arthur from
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption. I think it would be a fucking cool movie.
Sure. I think they say there was rumors that he might direct the next Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said
That
he was
would be
interested
kind of
too.
cool to look at. Like,
I would fucking love to see his take on like on Star Trek.
yeah, I think it would be great. Yeah. There's a lot of directors I think that could direct really cool Star Trek movies. But
Like,
whatever.
who would you?
Well, we'll talk about it another time.
That's for another show.
Yeah, it's already. We're almost at an hour.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I know. I'll try
what
to.
happens when you hit the south?
Yeah. Well, this is nice. I think. Is there anything else?
No, I think we touched upon everything we wanted to touch upon.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so too.
Except the Manson killings, though. I wish like we had more time to like talk about actual murder.
No, maybe we could dedicate an episode to talking about like this stuff because it's disturbing, but it is like interesting to study.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
just
Like the
these
reasons
crimes.
why. Yeah.
You've seen Mindhunter,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think
man, that's an amazing
yeah.
show. Yeah.
Maybe we should just we can maybe do a
Delve
little bit
into,
of
like,
research.
The psyche.
Yeah, because I do think like it does disturb me, individuals like that. So maybe we could like dedicate an episode.
Aye. Sounds good,
Yeah,
man.
sounds good to me too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this. I even though it's long, I think I enjoyed this a lot.
And speaking of murder, I think we killed it.
Indeed.
I think we killed it.
Okay, I'll just leave it at that.
That's the South Star.
All right, it's the dopest generation, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Pow!